Hello and welcome to everybody on Cloud Fitness. So in today's video, we are going to see how we can use dbtutils package to test our model in dbt. So basically, at the start of our project, what we have done, we have installed three different packages. We are going to see how we can use those three different packages in our dbt project. I am going to start with dbtutils, which is very helpful in case you want to implement test cases on top of your dbt model. So let's move ahead, but do remember to subscribe to my channel and as well as connect with me on LinkedIn. So let's move ahead to our project that we have been creating. So if you see over here, right, this is the project that we have created. We have this packages.yaml file where we have installed dbtutils, we have installed dbt expectations, and we have also installed dbt code gen, right? So if you see this dbt code gen and the code gen and dbtutils, these two are actually coming from directly from the dbt labs, and dbt expectations is an external package, but right now we are going to discuss more about dbtutils. So whenever you actually implement, whenever you have packages in the packages.yaml file, we simply run dbt-deps command, which we have been doing in our previous videos to install all the packages which are present in the packages.yaml file. And the moment we run this, what happens is this dbt packages gets created, and here you will see that dbtutils expectations and code gen being present over here. Now if I go ahead and if I open dbtutils, you will actually see that this is nothing but this is a dbt project in itself, right? And if you click on the macros over here, like we have already discussed that macros are nothing but those are the functions which you can use in your dbt project, right? We are going to discuss more on the macros as well later on. So if you go and you open generic test, so these are the tests, these are the macros which are present inside this particular dbtutils, which you can actually utilize in your project. So recency, not empty string, not constant, not accepted values, mutually exclusive ranges. So these are the different tests which we are going to implement as well. And also if I show you guys that if you go to this hub.getdbt.com, so these are the featured packages. You can see utils, project evaluator, code gen, external tables, expectations. Now if you go to dbtutils over here, you will actually find this whole repository where all the test cases are mentioned for your dbtutils over here, right? So if I go here, you can actually see equal row count and how to actually use it, fewer rows than, equality, everything, expression is true. So all of these are actually mentioned here. However, we are also going to implement them in today's video. Of course, I cannot implement all of them, but yeah, I'll try to implement maximum from them and I'll try to show you. And I will leave this link in the description box as well so that you guys can also go ahead and check it. So now to implement this, right? Where do we have to implement it? We have to implement them in our model. So if I go to the example staging and let me go to the products.yaml file. Now in the products.yaml file, if you can see, I have some test over here. Let me go ahead and try to use some test in the retail price column. So if I go ahead and if I simply say if I simply say tests, and inside my test I can simply go ahead and I can simply write something like dbt utils dot, so the package name dot, let me put the space also here, so package name dot the macro or the function that you want to, or the test you want to use, that is the test that you are going to specify over here. So for example, expression is true. If I want to test this, I can actually test it like this, and then I have to provide a tab and the expression over here, right? What is the actual expression that I want to test? That expression I need to provide. Inside this expression, I can simply say something like, let's say, less than or equal to cost. So I'll explain you what does this mean. So if you see this, what is exactly happening here? Here I am saying that when you run this particular model in the retail price column, go ahead, implement this test, and this test is coming from dbtutils package over here. And inside this dbtutils package, if you go to macros, there is an expression is true. If I open this from here, import this expression is equals to true and check the expression that this retail price should be less than or equal to the cost column over here. So this is exactly how it works, and if you see this expression equal to true, right, this is how a macro is written. We are going to see it in the further videos as well. Now in this macros, if you see at the top, it takes in model as an input parameter, which is nothing but your model name, expression which you have provided, and the column name, but the column name can be none as well. Now how it can be none? So if I take this test from here, which is at, now right now you can see this test is at the column level. I can also define this test at the model level. If I go at the top and if I put this test here, let me correct the indentation over here. Now if I'm putting this test over here, and I can simply say my column name was here retail price. Let me copy this column name, and if I say that retail price is less than or equal to cost, now the same test can actually be applied at the model level as well. So that is why, you know, you can actually ignore the column as well if you are putting the same test at the model level. So let me comment this right now, because we are implementing it at a column level here itself. So this is exactly how you can implement this particular test. Now apart from this, what else you can do, right? If you want to add any kind of a where clause, you know, how can you add it? Here itself you can simply say that, you know, check for this particular expression where, I can simply say where colon, and you know, you can write a SQL statement here which completes your where clause. So for example, let's say retail price, I can say is not null, right? So I am completing my where clause over here. Now if I save it and if I try to run my dbt test -s, and I provide the name of my file, which we have been doing it from our previous videos, and I hit enter, then you will see that this dbt test start running, right? And it is saying that it has some invalid configuration. Let us see what configuration it has invalid. Okay, so it is saying, so if you see over here that, okay, so basically what has happened here, I need to provide the indentation. So remember to provide the indentations, okay? And then let me save it again, and again let me try to run my test case. So the moment I run now since I have corrected the indentation, now you will see that it has started running, and you can actually see that, okay, you know, it has run, it has given one warning as well. Now here the objective is not to, you know, solve the warning or the error message. I am just trying to show you over here how to implement the test case. Now if this test case is a failed test case, it is giving me a warning over here, okay, because in my previous video I have already told you in the dbt project.yaml file, we have already said that the severity is what. So if there is any error, you know, at the project level, give me the severity as warning. So it is giving me warning over here. But I hope you understood, you know, this particular implementation of dbutils over here. Now let us try to implement another test case. Now to implement another test case, let me go to orders.yaml file, right? So in the orders.yaml file, what I can actually do is I can implement one more test. So for that, let me in fact show you here. Let's pick up a test from here. Let's say I was looking at one of the tests called as recency test, you know. So let me go through that test first over here. So if you see this recency test, so this is what we are going to do. So what it does is it asserts that a timestamp column in the reference model contains the data that is at least at the defined date interval. So I'll tell you what exactly does it mean. So if I go back over here to my model, right, what I can do is, now let's say I want to define this for a particular column, or I can simply define it at the model level as well. So let's define this test at the model level. So here let me go over here and I'll simply say test, and now I'll start defining my test over here. Now inside my test I'll simply say dbtutils, and I'll simply take from dbtutils, I have to take the test which is called as recency, right? This is the test that we have looked right now. Now from this test, what do we want? We will give some variables. We will assign the parameters here. Date part is 1, which is nothing but your day. Then you have your field which you want to look at, field, which is nothing but, let's say, created at. You can define the field. Let me put it as at, because this is the name of our field. After that, interval. So I'll exactly tell you what does this mean. Now if you see, and let me just save it as well. So here what is happening is, inside this, why I went to this particular model, because this model has a date column. The products did not had any date column. So if you look at this stage e-commerce orders table, right, the one which we created, so it has order ID, it has user ID, it has status column, and then it has created at, returned at, shipped at, delivered at. So it has some date columns. So what I want to see here is, I wanted to see here that I wanted to define a test which says a recency test. What it will do, it is going to first of all check the day. Here we are just defining the granularity level of the time period. So it is day over here, and then field is created at, to for which field we are trying to check, for which field we are trying to implement this particular test case. Now we are trying to implement it for created at column, which is nothing but this column. And what is the interval 4? Now what does this mean? So it is actually going to check whether the data in this particular field is at least 4 days old, right? So that is how it is actually going to check the recency of your data or of your column. So now if I go and if I just clear, and if I just simply provide the name orders, and I want to run it. So the moment I run it, it will start running this particular test case as well. So these are like nothing but these are different test cases that runs, right? For each of these tests, you know, if I go back here, you know, you can actually go ahead and go through all of this in detail. What does each of these means? And you know, it will be very helpful for you. Now even and also, let's say you want to kind of check the code which is generated as part of this test case. You can actually do that. So the moment I click over here in the output, you can actually see that this is the SQL that it is running at the BigQuery, right? It is creating a CTE recency, and it is selecting the maximum created date from your e-commerce orders table, and then you know, it is checking the interval of 4, and then you know, it is just trying to create your test case as a SQL over there. Now this is one test case, right? And similarly, let us go ahead and try to use another test case, which is this one. Let me uncomment this part over here. So here what is happening, in the user ID column, I'm saying that I want to test whether my dbutils dot at least 1. Now what does this mean? So from dbutils package, get me at least 1 macro, right? This is the macro. So if I again go here, you can see that there is this macro at least 1. So this is one which we are trying right now. We have already tried recency, right? Similarly, we have tried expression is equals to 2. So similarly, you can actually go ahead and try all of this. So let me in fact comment my previous test case so that it does not interfere right now, because I'm trying to show you. Okay, now, and if I save it, I'll simply clear the output here, and then I'll try to run my YAML file again. I'll try to run my test case again, and this is the test case that I have defined, at least 1. What does it mean? That a user ID column should have at least 1 value. That is what it is trying to tell you, that this should have at least 1 value. You know, this is how simple are the test cases in DBT, right? Now similarly, you know, you can also have a test case like, now let's say I go to the products, right? And if I go to the products, let's say you have something called as brand. So brand is the column, right? Here again I can go ahead and I can say tests, and then in the test I can again say -db utils, and I can take the macro called as not constant, right? Now, and that's all that I need to do, and I'll simply hit the save. And if I want to run it, let me just clear it, and instead of orders, it is products, and enter. So it is going to run this particular test. Now what is this not constant is going to do? This is going to make sure that any value in the brand should not match. So all the values should not be constant. There should be no duplicates, right? All the values should be different in the brand column. So that is what this dbutils not constant will do. So if you want to check what does this non-constant do, so let us go ahead and check here. Not constant asserts that a column does not have same value in all the rows, right? So this particular column should not have same values in all the rows. So this is exactly how you do this work. So I hope you understood. We have seen at least 4 tests right now, and if you want to see more, you can also do something like, so for example, if you see this department column in your product, right? So let me try to write a test over here. So now again, here inside the test we already have a not null, we also have an accepted value test, right? We have severity of error over here. Now similarly, I can also say that, let me put it a proper indentation, dbutils dot, and let's say not empty string, right, and colon. After that, let me again put the indentation over here, and I can say trim underscore white space colon false. I'll explain you what does this mean. So now simply let me try to save this as well, and let me go to the terminal, let me clear my window over here, and let me try to run my test again. Now what it is going to do, it is going to see not empty string. So basically this particular department column should not contain any empty string. That is what it is exactly mean, right? It should not contain any empty string. And trim white space. So what it will do before comparison, should it trim the white space or should it not trim the white space? So that is what your true and false here mean. If you don't define anything here, it is by default going to take it as true. So this is how exactly we kind of put our test cases in dbt. Again, not empty string, you can check here, asserts that a column does not have value equal to empty string over here, right? So this is how you actually use it. So pretty much all of these you can actually try. They are not much, they are not many. Mostly I have already covered 5 test cases here, and in the upcoming videos we are going to see the other modules and the usage of other modules, or how we can assert some test cases over here. So I hope you like this particular video. Do remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel. And also it is very important, if you guys are watching or you have joined my channel, I have a lot of videos on the data engineering part. If you are switching to the data engineering, or if you want to grow in the field of data engineering, my videos are real jam for you guys. So thank you so much for being till here, and of course subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.